So this week on Pangea Piercing, I fly to Atlanta, check out some sweet piercing shops along the way, and drive back in another BMW. Yeah, so this week I flew down to Atlanta. About once a year I fly to a southern state, pick up another BMW convertible and drive back to restore. This year is no exception. Only this year, instead of going to Texas, we bring you Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, the ATL, Detroit of the South. As a matter of fact, there's so many Detroiters there, they opened a Detroit-style Coney Island that I went to. So the final verdict, Detroit, Motor City, Coney Island, completely legit. A little taste of the D in the ATL. Go ahead and you ought to find them on Facebook and at least check them out and give them your support. They're JC approved, for whatever that's worth. I also attended the High Museum, which is like a nice modern art museum, and despite my somewhat brusque approach, believe it or not, I'm a big art fan. Michigan graffiti artists, take notice. See, I wouldn't have a problem if this was the type of he was putting on the side of my building, but like some old weak ass no making you, man, come on, you know, give me some fly and I might leave it up. You paint some boo-boo on my building, I'm gonna buff that like a pair of shoes. And of course, had to check out quality piercing shops along the way, and in Atlanta that means 3 places that I know of: Colo Piercing, Piercing Experience, and Virtue and Vice. Now I didn't have time, unfortunately, to work out all the details to get to shoot in Colo Piercing or in Piercing Experience, not to say that they're not quality places and places that we do support, but I didn't have a chance to film in them. However though, I did get a chance to sit down and talk with Mandolynne from Virtue and Vice.
I'm a piercer here at Virtue and Vice in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, I actually wanted to start piercing straight out of high school. Instead, I got married and my family didn't think that piercing was a real career and encouraged me against it. So I graduated from college and went to work for Target, and I was HR manager there, and then I went to work for the sheriff's office, and I was an executive assistant to the sheriff. I also was an accountant, and I worked at Microsoft, none of which I loved like I do piercing. So once my divorce was finalized and I moved to Georgia, I decided I'm gonna follow my heart and pierce. You know, like if somebody's looking for an apprenticeship or wanting to become a piercer, like, don't do it for the money. Definitely don't do it for the money. But do their research, you know, whether you're wanting to pierce or get pierced, like, do your research first, you know, find out what's out there, find out what would be a good match for you, you know, and then figure out how to get there. You know, you always want to start with the end in mind. So figure out where you want to be and then take your backward steps as to how can you make that happen. I feel like piercing is math and art and science all rolled into one, you know, and I think that the fact that we have the opportunity to be a part of that, it's pretty amazing.
After leaving Atlanta, well, pretty much only had one destination: Knoxville, Tennessee, for Born This Way Body Arts. And let me tell you, that place is badass. When you think Knoxville, Tennessee, you don't think high-end body piercing, quality tattooing. You think, well, Knoxville, Tennessee, sipping whiskey, horses and shit. Let me tell you, nothing further from the truth. It's all about sushi and art galleries and lofted out downtown buildings and high-end body jewelry. Bryan Thomas did the first eyebrow piercing that we've even done on the show. Completely freehand too, working out of his hands, and it was an interesting thing for me to watch.
My name's Bryan Thomas. I'm the piercer and owner here at Born This Way Body Arts in Knoxville, Tennessee. I've been piercing. This year marks my 10-year anniversary of being a body piercer, so I'm pretty stoked on that. Born This Way Body Arts opened up May 6th of 2011, so we're approaching our 1-year anniversary right now. I feel what really sets us apart from everybody else in our area is quality, ethics, and selection. You know, when I came down here, I traveled within like an hour radius of pretty much here, and I went out just kind of selling organic jewelry and trying to get a feel for what was out there, and I was finding that every studio in this area, nobody carried any jewelry whatsoever, and I'd meet people on the street, you know, it had stretched lobes, and I'd be like, where'd you guys get your jewelry at? And they're like, oh, Hot Topic. And I'm like, there's gotta be more out there. And all the research that I did showed me, no, there wasn't. And I was like, well, this has to stop. So, you know, just kind of built everything out of necessity and was like, you know, that people demand quality and they want it, so we're here to give it to them. My basic advice for people wanting to get in the industry, man, have a hardcore love and passion for it and realize that you're really going to end up doing it for the love and passion of it. You know, making a huge fat paycheck doesn't really happen a whole lot in our industry. We all do it because we love it. We want to do it to the best of our abilities. So my advice to people is always like, find yourself some ethics and some quality standards and never stop, you know, and keep pushing for it until you get there.
Of course, I made it all the way to Cincinnati. Nice uneventful drive. When the heater core exploded. Oh, this looks to be a real problem. I almost went to jail just now, actually. So I'm not one to just accept my fate lying down and go out on my fucking knees. I take my destiny in hand, and with that in mind, I've decided to pack up my expensive shit, you know, my camera, my laptop, and all that stuff, and start hoofing. I'm gonna find some tools, I'm gonna find some materials, I'm gonna get this f***ing show on the road. So I'm in a really bad neighborhood in Cincinnati, wrenching on my car, doing the bypass of the heater core that exploded, that the fella in Atlanta neglected to mention that might be an issue. Wish me luck. If you don't see me again, I was somewhere right on I-75 in Cincinnati with some crazy Arabic guys. Catastrophic failure of essential cooling system components. But luckily, due to superior mechanical knowledge and some friendly Palestinians, I was able to get my car back on the road later that evening. 4 hours later, I've southern engineered a repair for the car, and we're going to make an attempt to try to drive. Let's hope everything works out well. I'm not holding my breath. I halfway expect that the car will explode before I get home. God, let's hope for the best. Jesus. One of the reasons we do this show is because, you know, we can't pierce everybody. Not very many people live in the 1 hour circle around us as far as people that watch the show and are reached by it. So we want to be able to highlight good shops that deserve your support and deserve your respect and need your support, because, you know, it is a labor of love. The bad guys out there can scare you into all kinds of bad purchases, or, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to make a buck off this industry and doing things just half-assed. And, you know, a well-educated client isn't going to be going to do that. If we show our audience quality piercers and quality shops that need your support, then, you know, maybe people won't be going to the hacks anymore. Maybe we can get rid of the hacks by education and not by legislation. So periodically, the Pangea Piercing Show is going to highlight shops that deserve your support in your local area. So when we have a chance to go down, when we have a chance to be there, we'll film, if they'll allow us. We'll cheerfully tell you who you need to go to and who you need to be supporting in your local area and why. So if you enjoyed this video, repost, share this on your Facebook, Tumblr, tweet. And if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe to our channel.
Wow.